Thanks for joining us. This is our extended interview with Jennifer Quinn from JennyQ Live. The first part of this video is from our GNGF Live, which happens every other Wednesday over on our Facebook page. The second part here is a bonus extended interview where Jennifer shared some great live video how-to tips just for lawyers. If you already saw the live, I'll put the timestamp to the exclusive extended interview below. And of course, be sure to like and subscribe to follow along with all of our great conversations on legal marketing and the business side of running a law firm. And to watch this video on the platform of your choice, you can find everywhere we stream over at GNGF.tv. Welcome to GNGF Live, your bi-weekly Ask the Experts about all things law firm marketing and business growth. I'm Mark Homer, author of Online Law Practice Strategies and founder of Get Noticed, Get Found. On this show, we focus on the business side of growing and running your law firm. So I'm excited to have today's guest, Jennifer "JennyQ" Quinn. She's a live streaming consultant, speaker, video expert, and author. I met Jennifer a few years back when we were both speaking at a legal conference about marketing. Facebook Live, Instagram TV, all these things were just starting to take off, and Jennifer was already coaching professionals on how to use it to help grow their businesses. So when my producer suggested we have an expert on to talk about how law firms can leverage live video, she was the first person I reached out to. So stay tuned and be ready to take some notes because you will get some great nuggets from Jennifer to quickly incorporate video into your law firm marketing. As always, be sure to like and subscribe to our page and not just the video so you can get updated when our next episode goes live. Of course, it never hurts for you to show just a little love, and please just take a quick second to smash that like button on the video too. It really helps us with the Facebook and YouTube algorithm, and it only takes a moment of your time. We've got moderators in the chat, so please ask questions and interact during the premiere. And if you're watching this in the future after the premiere, we do monitor our comments and we'll reach out to our guests and answer any follow-up questions you have. That's because we love you all, and we love getting to meet you online and in person. So you can find a list of our upcoming webinars and events where we should be speaking at, hopefully soon live, on our website at gngf.com/events. On weeks when we're not premiering an interview, we drop a video as part of our GNGF Tip series. These are in-depth videos focusing on one topic at a time. Check it out on our YouTube page or by heading over to GNGF.tv. You can watch our latest video, after this interview, of course, at that link in the chat. Check them out. Like I said, we drop a new GNGF Tips video about every other Friday. Okay, let's get to the interview. Jennifer, thank you for joining me today.
Hi, Mark. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Awesome. Well, I mentioned in the intro, but we met at a legal conference years ago out in, I think Las Vegas?
It was Las Vegas.
And you were speaking on live streaming and helping law firm owners like get comfortable with live streaming when live streaming was not really talked about, right? I mean, I think Facebook Live was just kind of happening. Instagram TV was starting to happen. I mean, it was early on and you were already coaching people.
Right. So how that happened was I have a digital marketing agency, and I fell in love with live streaming when Periscope came out in 2015.
Oh, yeah.
And from there, I went to Blab, and then I worked with a production company on the East Coast, and we did production for big corporations. So I've worked on all ends of live streaming. So on camera and behind the scenes. And what I found was, the reason I was at that conference, it was shortly after I had written my book, Leverage Live Streaming to Build Your Brand, Start, Master, and Monetize Live Video. And what I found was professionals really needed some, like a guidebook, like hands-on, like right. How do I do this? Rather than going through what I did, as a marketer, I didn't have to necessarily protect my brand so I could go out and learn everything in the public eye versus a professional who is already the expert and authority. So I wrote the guidebook, how to do this.
Awesome. Yeah. And when we were going kind of our content plan for our shows this year, our producer said, we should do something on live video. I mean, we do a lot of live video. We do a lot of video ourselves. Said, it's great for, law firm owners and lawyers to kind of like get out in market. And we'll talk about all the reasons why. But you were the first person I called. So thank you for joining me and helping today.
My total pleasure.
I have to ask, one of the, you having a digital marketing agency background as well, and not just on live streaming, but in general, what are one of the biggest kind of marketing mistakes you see professionals make?
this is a big one, and it's not easy to hear, but I'm just going to call it like it is. So professionals, there's actually two parts to it. The first one is professionals make it about them, and with good reason. They've spent a lot of time. So let's talk about lawyers specifically.
Right.
They have spent so much time and resources, and they've gained so much knowledge and their education, right? And just all that they've done. And they are definitely the expert and the authority. There's no question. But when they go into the marketing component, they need to switch it to be about their ideal client. And that's one of the biggest mistakes all businesses make in marketing. And that is, they make themselves the hero. And if you follow the story brand, right, Donald Miller, he talks about this. Don't make yourself the hero, make your client the hero, and you're the guide that takes them along. And so that's one mistake. Another huge mistake that lawyers make, professionals make, is they use industry lingo. So it's a shift that's difficult to make, but very worthwhile to shift into talking at street level. Whether you are doing video, whether you're writing a post, whether you have to assume that your ideal client has never heard anything that you're sharing, and even write or speak, as you would if you had a seventh grader, and explain things at that level. Otherwise, we don't have a frame of reference at all for what you're sharing.
Yeah, I love that. We talk about it from a content perspective on websites, like we hit those similar things. So from marketing overall, that makes a lot of sense. And I'm going to ask you next about specific with video, but like one of the things we talk about is like attorney profiles on websites. When we see them for many law firms, it tends to be like just the really technical resume, in things that are maybe important to a lawyer, right? Like you went to this school, like it was hard to get into school. Like people who are lawyers know that. You went and clerked for this judge. That was really hard to do. People who are lawyers know that. But consumers really have no idea, right? You got into this particular thing with the bar association or that. But I joke that sometimes especially if you're doing business to consumer law, but like they just want to know that you coach the little team in their town, right? Like that's what they may care about.
Exactly.
And then the content side, one way I get people to think about it, and your thoughts on this is like if you were at a barbecue, I know we can't do that right now, but if you were like a backyard barbecue and you asked your friend to explain to one of your other friends what you do, that would be probably eye-opening to see like that's the language you need to use.
Right. I love that analogy. That's perfect. And even to take that a little bit more and apply it to digital marketing and social media, every platform has its different culture. So I like to talk about Facebook as the barbecue, right? LinkedIn is more the boardroom. Twitter is more, like networking after hours. And so you kind of want to tweak your messaging depending on where you are and who your audience is as well.
So how does live streaming in particular, or just video marketing too, right? We talked about that.
Sure.
Give professionals or lawyers, because I know you work with not just lawyers, right? You work with other professionals and stuff. But how do they get an edge above their competition using these tools?
Well, there's so many different ways that a customer or a client finds you, right? So let's just quickly go through maybe the top 3 to 5 reasons to use video. So let's say someone refers, you put out on Facebook, hey, you guys, I just got in a car accident. I need a lawyer. Who do you know? And then all the recommendations come up, right? With 10 lawyers in your area.
Right.
And everyone is going to, somebody who's serious, they're going to click on that Facebook tab, or they're going to go to the website, and all things being equal, they're going to connect with the person who has video content showing a personal side, because they can start trusting them, and they build the know, like, and trust factor much faster than reading about them or seeing images. And so it's that being real, being authentic, and being, strategically transparent with your video, right? So that's one of the reasons. Another reason is when you're consistently creating video content, it keeps you, and I know you know this, like top of mind awareness, right? How important is top of mind awareness when you are in a highly competitive field? Right. And Mark, I would be interested to know, with your agency, how many different paid features are there that people can hire you for, just so that they can stay top of mind with the audience?
Right. I mean, absolutely. Top of mind
Yeah.
awareness. I mean, video is one, right? Like
Yeah.
we love and encourage video, which is why we realized, we need to have somebody help teach this, because we don't do a lot of it for clients. But, email marketing, right? Retargeting, following people on, Facebook and stuff if they visit your website, newsletters. I mean, just so many opportunities to stay top of mind. I mean, I'm even big fans of sponsoring the local parades and stuff, like when we get those back.
Absolutely.
So top of mind awareness. That was two. You said there was three, or was that, did I miss? There?
Well, they all kind of go hand in hand. So there's the building the know, like, and trust factor, having a video portfolio, whether it's like recorded video or live streaming. When people go check you out, you want video everywhere they're going to go, and you don't know where they're going to go.
Correct.
Every client has their preferred place to check you out. Is it on your website? Maybe. Is it on Twitter? Maybe. Is it on Instagram? Maybe. It really depends on where your ideal demographic is hanging out. And I know, Mark, that's what you help people with, is determining where they need to put their efforts, for to get the biggest bang for their, not just buck, but for their time and their resources and their energy.
Right. So interesting. You also mentioned just having video on your website in general. Like we did a study, and it's probably 5 years old at this point. So probably worth doing it again. But we just studied websites that had a video on their homepage converted about 20% better than websites that didn't. Just something simple as a video, like as something that was a causal factor there. I think it was very interesting.
Definitely.
So when you have video and you have all these things. You talked about social media and Twitter and Facebook. One of the questions I get all the time is, do I need to do that from my law firm, or do I do that from my personal Facebook page, or this idea of having a personal brand separate from your law firm? We've talked about this before, but share with the audience. This is a really fascinating and tough question.
Well, what I coach is, there is really, at this point where we are with digital marketing, there is no line anymore between personal and business. People, especially after the pandemic, right? Especially after the quarantine, we are so hungry for connection, real human connection. And so I would say, treat anything that you do as a professional, I'll clarify this, as a professional, treat anything that you do anywhere online as a business profile. And so, yes, you can definitely have a personal Instagram, and then people are going to check it to find out who you are as a person. It's far more important for people to do business with someone they like than to do someone who looks polished and professional. And so I don't know if you've heard of this. A good friend of mine is the father of the H2H concept. And this was years ago, I think in 2014, 2015, where he coined the phrase, there is no more B2B. There is no more B2C. It's all H2H, human to human. And now more than ever, that's exactly what we want to do. We want to show our human side. And I can't stress enough. People talk about, be vulnerable and be transparent. And I'm like, be strategically vulnerable and be strategically transparent as a professional, because everything you do online will live forever. And that is your brand. There really is no dividing line between your personal brand and your professional brand. Now, is there a difference between the content you put on your business, let's say Facebook page, and your personal Facebook page? Absolutely, right? But it's still, you always want to present yourself and protect your brand as a professional.
Yeah, I think professionals and lawyers in particular, especially, well, I think it applies to business and business to
Right.
consumer, just as you said. Um, we constantly tell our clients, like that people hire people, people don't hire law firms, right?
Exactly.
In fact, like the biggest rainmaker at a law firm may not be the named partners, the name on the sign. It's the person who's out there putting their personal brand out there, putting their personality, building relationships, and having people refer them as a person, not the law firm as a whole. So, I totally agree, but I totally get the challenge that a lot of law firms have of like, well, I don't even like being on Facebook, and I don't want people to see my grandkids' pictures and stuff like that. So I understand it. Like we're both very public figures for our personal brands and companies and stuff, and I think it's something we both struggle with, right? It's like when do you kind of like make it about the company versus about the person? So there is an interesting struggle, and I know that's the type of things you help coach people through, right? And maybe even getting people out of their comfort zone a little bit of showing that personality. But before I dive into that, because I have a lot more questions I want to get through. So one of the things, because this is something else we've talked about in the past, what keeps people from actually contacting a law firm? We talked about the people to people stuff, but that initial consultation or that initial outreach, like what are some of the like stopping points that consumers hit?
Well, as a consumer who is not a lawyer and I don't play one on TV, I know for me, I remember the first time that I had to reach out for a lawyer. I'm thinking it was probably for divorce, unfortunately. But I was so intimidated. I was intimidated to make the call. I was intimidated to step into the office. The office was so sterile and just, it was exactly what I would expect a law office to look like, but it was also scary. I didn't know what to expect. And so my assumption is other people who are also not lawyers feel the same way, because, as just the average consumer, we kind of, and also let's throw in there the bad reputation that lawyers in general have, right? So there's some hurdles to overcome. And that's why live streaming and video can break that barrier. So a couple things, when someone sees your video, you want them to feel comfortable and you want them to already know the problems you solve before you call. Can you imagine the ripple effect of that? You now are saving resources in internal resources, only picking up the calls that people already know what you're going to help them with. They already know they want to work with you, right?
Right.
And so your conversion rate goes way up on the phone calls.
Yeah, and you talked about the know, like, and trust. I mean, it's kind of like all working together here, right? I mean,
Yeah, totally.
It is that getting a connection and helping people understand how you will walk them through what is probably for most people when they're reaching out to a lawyer, sensitive, scary, all these, adjectives for things that are not positive typically. Unless you have a windfall of millions of dollars and need that great estate attorney, everything else is typically either a really sensitive or scary matter. So, if lawyers can keep that in mind and present that confidence and comfort through video, and it's much easier to do that than words. And we do a lot of words for people, right? But it is much easier to do it in video.
Right.
So I want to go to take that idea of personality, because this is something else that I saw you do last year and was just so cool. You've always kind of pushed, lawyers. I know you coach people that, to get out of their comfort zone and show a little more personality and build that, know, like, and trust. But you started bringing improv into it.
Yeah.
So tell me a little more, like why improv and how that helped the professionals and how that helped your coaching clients and some of the things you're doing around this, improv and video.
Yeah, absolutely. So improv. So the way that happened is a good friend of mine, Megan Bryant, who is now my business partner and the co-founder of Improv Video. She is an improv corporate trainer, and along with a bunch of other things. But so she actually teaches teams and companies how to incorporate improv to improve communication. And we literally were just hanging out one day and we're like, what if we took improv and taught improv insights and how they if we infused improv insights into video and live streaming, what would that do? And so we just pulled out all the whiteboards and we started mapping it out and realized that what improv does is it actually, there's rules to improv. So an example is the yes and rule instead of yeah but, right? So we teach professionals how to use that in their communication in video. And it's very simple. Why improv? Improv unlocks the inner genius and allows it to come out. So it's playful and it gets rid of that I'm an expert and I need to talk at, a high level, to I'm a human and I want to share something with you that's going to add value.
So I knew you did this course with your friend last year. I didn't realize. So you have a company now, Improv Video. Are you doing something coaching specific for people, or do you have stuff on like improv that like we could reach out and access? Because that was so cool, the course you did last year.
Right, exactly. So what we did, Mark, so we did 9-day intensives where it was live and in person, and the feedback we got was amazing. So we thought, what if we bundled that and created an on-demand course?
Okay.
So that people, so it's the same content. And so that's what people can do. And actually, it's available now at a screaming deal. And I'm not just saying that lightly, and I don't mean to sell, but if you buy it on its own, it's 10 times the cost, right? So it's, you can look at it, you can find it at advantage.improvvideolive.com and then see if it's a fit for you. There's a lot of information there. You'll see a video of us talking about it.
Okay, so we'll get that link in the notes. Like, I didn't realize you had a separate company for that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Congrats on that. So
thank you.
I have so many more questions because I wanted to get into like, you have just like how to, like here, all the top questions you get from like people like, like how long should a typical live stream be? Like what type of equipment should I use? How do I come up with ideas? If you can stick around with me for just a few more minutes, we could post answers to those things on our YouTube on Friday, if that's okay.
Okay, totally. Yep.
Awesome.
I'm here for you.
Before we go, how can people get a hold of you, Jennifer?
Yeah, you can send me an email directly, JennyQ@JennyQLive.com. That simple.
Awesome. And you're on Twitter, and we've done Clubhouse stuff. So
all the things,
you're
right?
all
That's
over.
what we do, Mark.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sticking with me, and I will be right back.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you, Mark.
Thanks for joining us today, everyone. Be sure to like and subscribe to our Facebook page so you can get notified when our next episode goes live. We have new interviews about law firm marketing and the business of side of running your firm here every other Wednesday. We're going to keep going here in the GNGF studio, so you can watch the full extended interview with Jennifer Quinn this Friday over on our YouTube channel. We'll be diving into specific how-to tips for leveraging live video in your business. See you then. Okay, thanks for sticking with me because I got a lot more questions.
Awesome. Let's do it. Yeah.
So first of all, just share with everybody, because you and I have talked about this, but you did a lot of cool things to help your clients kind of like not just survive, but like, thrive in the 2020, lockdown and quarantine, which we're still not fully out of here, but you've done some cool things. So tell everybody about that.
Well, everyone, like right when we went into lockdown, it was total shock, and it couldn't be business as usual for anyone.
Mm-hmm.
And so so it was constantly, how do we pivot? How do we still stay in top of mind awareness, right? And most especially, how do we add value to the people we already have relationships with?
Right.
So one of the fun ideas we came up with, one of my clients is an attorney in Florida, and he's a cycling attorney, and he has spent years building his practice with cyclists, right? And so one of the things we did with the relationships he had already built with the community, instead of trying to still make it all work with the way that we did it before, we said, how can we add value? So we reached out to the people he had relationships with and asked them specifically, what needs are you having and how can we meet that, right? And so it was really a shift in how can we serve you versus, how can we how can we continue building this relationship because everything changed. And as much as I would love to tell you the specifics on how we pivoted that, I think he might shoot me for sharing the secret sauce because it was very successful. But I can tell you that was the method we went through. How can I serve you gives a very different answer, right, than how can we still continue the same relationship.
Yeah, and so taking that same idea, one thing I've talked to a lot of law firms who were coming on webinars left and right, kind of saying, "What do we do?" Right? Like and is leveraging referral partners as well. So, but thinking the same way, not how can referral partners send me some business when we're all struggling, but what can I do to help my referral partner help their audience, right? If
Perfect.
you could host them on a like a Facebook Live or something like that, making them look good about their topic that helps you, but then they do the same. They share that with their clients, their prospects, and their list, and you're kind of being able to leverage referral partners by doing something simple as having a conversation and making them look good, right?
Well, exactly, and that's twofold, right? So you're getting the initial thing of giving them a platform, a new audience, a new way of talking about their business, and hopefully getting business, but even more importantly is you are locking in the value of that relationship. You're showing that the relationship matters way more than any business they could bring you.
And there's a subtle psychological shift that happens too when you're interviewing, right? When you're the interviewer, there's this perception of like if you're a lawyer interviewing like the CPA about something, or a chiropractor, or whatever, like the referral partner you're working with, and you're interviewing them about like very interesting things that that your community and clients want to know, then you're the expert somehow, even though all you're doing is asking questions, right? It's a fascinating thing that happens, but we held interviewers who are great interviewing in amazing, super high regard, right? Like, I mean, Oprah, Ellen,
I was going to say,
Today
look
Show,
at
right?
Oprah.
I mean, it's amazing. And all they got good at was pulling out information that we all wanted to know, right?
Exactly.
So I know that's just an easy way to kind of leverage some live video and stuff. So this was interesting because you mentioned this as something to me, and I wrote it down, and we haven't talked about it yet. So I'm curious.
Good, because it might be a surprise for me too. What is it?
How does video marketing, or how are you using video marketing to complement, you having digital marketing background, right? Like paid and organic and all the things that we work really hard with law firms, but like how is video marketing complementing some of that?
Yeah. So so the customer journey, we never know what they're going to do, right? And so, yes, we can use video ads, which have a high conversion rate. So that's definitely one way. People just want to connect with people, like even more so now, right? We want even since we can't be person to person as much as we were able to prior to the pandemic, then we're connecting digital eyeball to digital eyeball.
Right.
And so that's powerful. But even beyond that, so Mark, when you have clients who are investing $5,000-$10,000 a month on Google paid ads,
right,
and it works, and you have the conversion, and they click and they go to the website, and it's this sterile, dry, staunchy website. How are they connecting with their client? Like, you got them there. Now, how are they connecting? Now, some people may see the name and then just do their own search and go to Facebook or to Twitter or to LinkedIn. What are they going to see there? They want to see a human. They want to know that the professional, who can be very intimidating, is going to be warm and trustworthy and welcoming. And so that's how they go hand in hand. What would you add to that?
Yeah, it's interesting because we hadn't talked about this before, but you had mentioned, like, hey, we're doing some stuff with, that helps with paid. And I'm like, oh, let me write that down. I want to follow up with her on that. So I decided to put you on the spot on a live video. But we totally agree. And, one of the things that I always explain to people is, like, you spend all this money and time and effort, content, all the links you're working on, paid advertising stuff. Like, that's a lot of work on organic and paid advertising. And then somebody comes to your website, and if they don't convert, they're gone. but what can you do to enhance their, like you said, the customer journey, right? So whether it's you can get an email and then follow up with them via email. You can get them to, maybe go to a podcast that you have. You show off your video stream on YouTube or something, right? You can have all these other places to keep the connection, tag them on those platforms, remarket and follow them. But like building your audience and controlling that audience and not just relying on Google, Facebook, whatever, to send you traffic and hope that it keeps coming in, right? You want to kind of build that own audience and grow that. That's something that we coach all the time.
I love that. And what better way to build an audience than producing and creating? And when I say producing, I'm not talking high level production. I'm talking take out your smartphone, shoot a video and share it or go live, right? And so what a better way to build an audience than producing video content, whether it's live or recorded, on a consistent basis. So people begin to know exactly what you're going to bring to them, and it's going to add value every time.
That's awesome. And we've got so many examples, and some of the people that we work with who've done amazing things with video. And totally. I'm going to ask this next question, but I already kind of know some of the answers I've heard you say before because I've heard you tell our shared client. But what type of equipment do people need to start with, right? You just mentioned the equipment. You say grab your smartphone and stuff. So like I get that, right? You have your smartphone, but is there a level up? Is there something that's too much in the beginning? Like, what's your how-to on equipment?
Yeah. So I use an acronym called LAVS, and there's 4 areas that you really have to nail, right? So just quickly, lighting, audio, video, and stability, right? If you have a recent model cell phone, you already have the audio and the video locked in if you're in a quiet place, okay? Mm-hmm. So the lighting, again, it's super easy. All you have to do for lighting is sit in front of a window with the light shining in on you and no overhead light. So if you're doing daylight. If you're live streaming or creating video in a darker place, you will need to invest in a ring light, again, under $100, right? And then stability is vital. Now, stability, you don't even have to buy anything, but get creative with boxes and books and make sure that your lens of your camera is at eye level and that you look into the lens of the camera. It's that simple. We make it so hard and it's not. And that's a great place to start. Thank goodness that technology is advancing the way it is, that we do have what we need in our pocket. Now, when you want to up level, and Mark, I know your studio looks amazing and you've done such a great job, but people don't need to think that that's what they have to do. As an example, I'll show you, I'm still using my mic that I bought almost 6 years ago. I think it was $50 at the time. And I've invested in other equipment, but look at this. It's still sitting here on my desk because it hasn't taken priority yet. It needs to. I'm going to start a podcast, and this is a podcasting mic, and that's all audio, as you know. And so, but it's really important to not get in your own way and use, I don't have the right equipment as an excuse. And I just hopefully completely knocked out all of your excuses by telling you LAVS, lighting, audio, video, and stability, and you're golden.
Awesome. Do you still have, I think I linked to something you had on your website, like at a presentation maybe a month or 2 ago. So I think you have, so we probably find that link, but you have a link, I think, because what I liked about it is you say getting started, and I think you have like just links to the Amazon or BHFit, whatever the places, like here's where you get these things. If you're just getting started, here's lighting, here's basic stuff. And you might not even know all that in the beginning, right? So you care if we share that?
No, not at all. So I did create it. It's just simply an Amazon store. So you literally have to go through and click the link. So it's store.jennyq.live. And you just go there, and I do have it broken up, beginner and intermediate or advanced, right? So you truly can continue your video creation with only doing your beginner stuff, beginner equipment. And so in there, you'll find in the beginner section, you'll find things like a selfie stick tripod that's, I think, around $20, right? It works for stability. Great, though. Ring light that you could use, and just some simple like audio upticks, but you really don't need it. Like, you really don't. Get out of your own way. and create the video.
Yeah, we have a client, Morris Lilienthal from Martinson and Beeson down in
Yes,
Huntsville,
yes.
right? And I mean, he started off just, I mean, he's still today, like, I'd say 25, 30% of his videos are him just holding his arm up, looking at his camera, and it's not the sexiest, but like he's just got out of his comfort zone and says, people are okay with this. He does some nicer, things as well, but like that still works. So
I want to share something with you to that point. It may not be the most produced, but some of the biggest YouTubers who I've watched on their journey, they have now reversed. So I've watched them start out like, looks like it's in mom's basement, right? And then they've gone to high production because now they're running multi-million-dollar businesses. They've gone to high production with all the fancy thumbnails and the best lighting and the best audio. And guess what? During the pandemic, it's now reversed. They are showing up, with just a casual background, daylight, maybe their hair and makeup's not perfect. But that's because, again, back to, we want the raw human connection, and Mo crushes that.
yeah, awesome. I think this is a quick one, but it's a question I get all the time. So passing it over to you.
Okay.
What is a good length for a live stream or a good length for like a video?
Okay. So with live streaming, there are some algorithmic, easy for me to say, indications for the different platforms. For example, Facebook wants you to be at least 3 minutes long, right? But what I tell people, and especially professionals, is come up with your content and the goal of exactly what you want to talk about, right? And go as long as you need to share and add value, and not 1 second longer. The worst thing you can do on video is to ramble. And once we get caught up in how long should it be to game the algorithm or for viewers, which by the way changes day to day, it's far more important, to your point, to build an audience by always adding value and making it about your viewer and your audience, and possibly your next client, than it is about, I want to game the system, right? It just doesn't work because it's constantly changing anyway. So just produce quality video that addresses the needs and the hopes and the fears of your audience.
That's awesome. That's great advice, because I think the audience, or the reason you're doing some of these videos for a professional or for a law firm owner, is a lot different than the data that comes out about, like the perfect length for YouTube and stuff like, because those are very focused around monetizing. You need this much length to show up in the algorithm because you're trying to stick ads in there and make money off of that as a YouTube content creator. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about making connection, sharing, and connect with that audience if they find you different ways. So I love that. Just enough to cover the topic, not a second longer.
Not 1 second more.
I'm going to steal that. So thank you.
Absolutely.
So the probably bigger question, but I get all the time, is like, okay, great. I'm going to do this. What do I talk about?
Oh yeah, that's a big one. And usually when professionals ask me that, there's an expletive in there, right? And so a quick, easy answer is just make a list of the top 10 questions people ask you about your practice and start there. What's going to happen is just the exercise of making that list, you will turn on the reticular activator system and you'll start noticing people are asking you different questions too, right? And then as you go live or as you create videos, people in the comments will ask you more questions. Answer the question, but then also take that question and create another video for that. And that's a simple, easy way to get started. Even so, because this question is so popular, my partner on Improv Video, we created a calendar for 52 topics for professionals with a bonus for every month in case you don't like one of them. You can do another one, right?
So like one a week kind of video through content.
Yeah, or video content. And it's like prompts. So an example would be the story of how your law firm got started. We all know how to do that. We can talk about that, right? A specific, it generally revolves around stories, but then you can also give advice. You can give tips. You can say, hey, these are my top 3 business tools. Now, remember, This is not, you're not talking about your practice or your law. You're sharing valuable information. These are my top 3 business tips, right? Or my favorite productivity tools, right? So now you're connecting human to human and building that relationship.
Yeah, I've seen professionals successfully, you know, once a month talk about their favorite new restaurant.
Yes.
Like, what an easy thing, right? It's like, what's your favorite new restaurant in town? And what you're doing is you're shouting out a restaurant. Obviously, you can tag them on social. You do a lot of things there. You're connecting with somebody that you're in their community. You go to eat in the same places, right? That they
Totally.
eat. Like stuff like that is awesome. But so your top 10. So if people are just kind of trying to do something around like, top 10 kind of questions, start there, get going, and then start listening. You'll probably start off with the very legal specific or frequently asked questions like you're saying. And quickly though, go to start listening for things like, if they're asking about maybe like the process, that's a thing to talk about. It may not
Totally.
be right the actual kind of advice item, but it's like they want to talk about the process. But it sounds like you've got a shortcut. So if people want to like get 52, we might have to sign up for that, Daniel. If we want to get like 52 video ideas, or however you want to describe
Right.
it, like they can. Is this part of the improv video again, or is this your
Yeah.
coaching?
It is improv video, and we sell it as a standalone product on our
Okay.
website. However, if you go to just full disclosure here, it's a funnel, right? It starts with the Livestream
We're
Advantage.
marketers. That's what we do.
I know. And then, I hate it. We're trying to hide. No, it's a funnel, guys. And it's a screaming deal. But you start with the Livestream Advantage, right? And then after you buy that, you can get the 52-week calendar it's called an order bump. And then you can get that. And so you save hundreds of dollars going that route. So that's at advantage.improvvideolive.com. And so, but otherwise you can just go to our main website and grab it as a standalone, not a problem.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, just having those ideas, like one less thing to do, and then there's other things, like in your book, right? You talk about like batching things and like just the way to go about. So check out the book. You've got so many new things going on that we've got to catch up on, because that's awesome. I get some of that stuff for our clients. But I think those are all my how-tos that I wanted to cover. Is there any other last things that I'm maybe missing, or one last tip? If not, that's okay.
Yes, I have a big tip, and that is get started and don't stop. There will be a learning curve. Don't be afraid of it. Read the book, get whatever, just to get a tiny bit past your fear. You only need to be 1% more of something than fear, right? So when I heard that helped me so much in so many things of life. So get started, don't stop. You will get better, and just connect with people.
Awesome. Well, thanks for being our guest today and going on all the stuff on live video and video marketing, because it is an area that we actually don't help our clients specifically on. And so we lean on coaches like you guys on getting people out of their comfort zone and stuff. So thanks so much for sharing.
Mark, thank you for having me on, and I'm always here to help and support.
Awesome. Thanks, Jen.
Hey, what's up? I'm Josh. Thanks so much for joining us. If you feel like you learned something today, think of how beneficial it would be to chat with myself or another one of our marketing consultants one-on-one. Go ahead and visit our website to schedule your free consultation. It only takes a minute.